There's two ideas that are new ideas that most people, 99% of the world doesn't understand, that I'm going to share with you. First idea, Bitcoin is rotating this year from the old insight narrative, which is it's an uncorrelated speculative asset traded by retail traders on offshore exchanges with leverage that's kind of cool. It's rotating to a new insight, which is it's the world's best long duration investment grade safe haven treasury asset. It's something you're gonna use to give money to your grandchildren. If you want to have money 30 years from now, 60 years from now, and you want to put your money in property that the state can't seize, no government, the government can't get at, it's not going to be taxed away like real estate, it's going to be there for 30 years, 40 years, then this is the ultimate long duration safe haven asset. That's a new idea because people that put money into that idea are just going to let it sit there for a decade. They're not traders. They're not speculators.
Michael Saylor believes 99% of the world still doesn't understand the true value proposition of Bitcoin. With the entrance of Blackrock, Fidelity, and 10 other major institutions to Bitcoin via the Bitcoin ETFs, the Bitcoin narrative has now changed. Bitcoin is now the world's best long-duration, investment-grade, safe haven treasury asset. Saylor points out the Bitcoin value proposition is simple. Everyone sitting in cash is going to lose half of their wealth in real terms over the next 3 to 5 years. Why? Because of the debt crisis in the US and the unending devaluation of the dollar due to money printing. Saylor also believes that it is inevitable that corporations such as Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Google are going to invest into Bitcoin, bringing hundreds of billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars with them. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where Saylor breaks down why he believes it is inevitable that Apple is going to incorporate Bitcoin into the iPhone. Also guys, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy staying up to date with finance content, consider subscribing or liking the video. It's free and you can always change your mind. Now here's Michael Saylor on what 99% of people don't understand is coming.
The reason I'm passionate here is because I think everybody on earth is going to lose half their wealth in the next 3 to 5 years if they sit in fiat instruments, because the banks are draining the monetary energy out of the currency at such a rapid rate. So I think that Bitcoin is the answer to everybody, all 7.8 billion people's problems. It's the answer to every investor's challenge. And although I think people are going to invest in passionate stocks they love, like Tesla, and real estate they love, if you don't love it and you're just trying to conserve your store of value, then Bitcoin is a much better idea than every other idea. And you'll see insurance companies like Mass Mutual putting 100 million in. That's 100 million out of a $230 billion general fund. What happens when they put 1% in or 2% in? So that rotation from speculative asset to safe haven asset is a big idea, because you go from 1% of the people betting 1% of their money to 100% of the people betting 50% of their money. Okay, big idea. Like there's $300 trillion worth of monetary energy sitting between bond stocks and real estate. Half of it just wants a store of value. So there's no reason why $150 trillion wouldn't flow into the Bitcoin network. And so we're not talking about demonetizing gold. We're talking about the people that stampeded to gold or S&P indexes or stock indexes or bond indexes. If you don't love, if you own Tesla, you love it. But there's a lot of people that buy stocks they don't love. They just put it in there because they don't want to lose their money. And so they will use Bitcoin as a savings account. It's like the savings and loan at the end of the universe, right? It's just a savings account. It's a savings and loan in cyberspace that's available to 7.8 billion people where no politician can steal your money, right? That's a simple idea. Everybody on earth needs it. Simple. There's another idea though, which is this is the first truly engineered monetary network in the history of the world. And by that, I mean, it's a closed, thermodynamically sound monetary system. If you put $100 million in the system, it's like charging a battery. It has no power loss. You can store it for 100 years. It'll still be there. every other monetary system has a power loss in it. It bleeds energy. If you put your money into, if you put your money into electricity and store it in a battery, you lose 2% a month. You have 24% inflation rate a year. If you put your money, that's the problem. You can't move electricity around without losing 6% of it over the course of a few hundred miles. So what if I wanted to store all my monetary energy and I didn't want to lose it every month or every year or every decade? Well, I design a closed system, 21 million gold coins. None come in, none go out. All I can do is heat it up or cool it down. That's the definition of a thermodynamic closed system. Bitcoin is the first example of that system. What that means is that you can collect all of the monetary energy in the world, store it in this battery, hold it for 100 years, channel it through time and space with no energy loss. It's an engineering breakthrough. It's like an aqueduct. It's like an electrical power system or grid. So if I said to you, I thought I'd build a city, but I thought I'd plug it into an aqueduct, you wouldn't say I'm crazy. You would say that's a good idea so that all your people don't die due to lack of water and sanitation, right? It's like building a city on a river. Is that a crazy idea or a good idea to have a river flowing through the city? What if I decided I was going to have a city with roads in it? Good idea, bad idea? How about my house is going to be wired for electricity? Good idea, bad idea? Or I have a company, we're going to be on the internet. Okay, it's not risky to be on the internet with electricity and have running water. These are not risky things, but they were pretty crazy ideas before we had the internet, electricity, and running water. Okay, so Bitcoin is a monetary network. When Jack Dorsey plugged Square into it, he plugged Square into the monetary network. PayPal is plugged into the monetary network. MicroStrategy plugged itself into the monetary network. Why? Because all the other networks if you're in cash, you're losing 15% of your energy a year. If you're in gold, you're losing 3 or 4% of your energy a year. If you're using a stock portfolio, you got to guess Google versus Facebook versus Amazon versus Tesla and juggle the thing and worry about what happens every quarter. It's too complicated. What if I just wanted to plug into a monetary network that will store and protect my energy from depletion for the next decade? No one's ever figured it out. Bitcoin is Facebook for money. If Facebook's worth $1 trillion because it stores the social energy of 1 billion people or 2 billion, Bitcoin has got to be worth 100x that much because it's storing the money of 1 billion people. When Rupert Murdoch shows up to Facebook, he doesn't bring 1 billion friends. When Rupert Murdoch shows up to Bitcoin, he's going to drop $1 billion on the network immediately, because what do you do with a monetary network other than put all your money on it? It's a pretty big idea. It's not a speculative, uncorrelated asset. It's the first monetary network in the history of the world that we've figured out how to make work. Bitcoin is the best performing asset the past month, the past quarter, the past year, the past 2 years, the past 5 years, the past 10 years, against everything. And why? Because you can't make any more of it. It's a very simple idea. What if I had something and you couldn't make any more of it and everybody wanted it? Well, then if you double the amount of money, the price is going to double at least. By the way, there are 3 drivers of Bitcoin. It's going to go up in value as the Fed and the EU central bank prints money. If they print 10% more money, you're going to get 10% more value because the supply is capped. It's going to go up in value as people stampede to adopt it. The consumers are stampeding to adopt it, and also as corporations stampede, and as institutional investors. You got insurance companies, you got hedge funds, you got corporations, you got individuals on PayPal and Square. That's going to drive adoption. And the third reason it's going to go up in value is because technology is going to keep upgraded, and pretty soon it'll get built into Apple Pay and Google Pay and Alipay and Amazon and Square, and everybody is, no one's going to program a new feature for gold ever, It's not going to happen. What's the secret to Tesla again? the secret to Tesla is Elon Musk said, let's just take a clean sheet of paper and rethink the car. And let's see if we can re-engineer it better with software and do something different. He broke the mold. What if I said, I'm going to just re-engineer the idea of money, clean sheet of paper, and I'm going to program it to be better. I can move $100 million of Bitcoin from New York to New York to London in a few minutes for $3. It would cost you $1 million to do that with gold. It's 1,000,000 times better. And it's going to keep getting better every month because people are going to keep programming it into their stuff. And why will they? Because if Apple programs Bitcoin into the iPhone's going to have a savings account that pays you 100% tax-free interest. Why wouldn't they? And if Apple were to build a crypto wallet into the secure element of the iPhone and really support it with integration to Apple Pay in a nice native fashion, and if they were to then to adopt Bitcoin on their balance sheet and start to buy some Bitcoin, they would generate $100 billion in shareholder value in 12 months. I mean, you want to make $100 billion? It's a very simple thing. Build it into 1 billion phones and then buy a few billion worth of it. What do you think happens to Bitcoin? If Apple buys $10 billion of Bitcoin, what do you think happens to the Bitcoin price? So the point is, there's so many ways to make money, right? Because if Apple did it, everybody else would have to do it too, right? And 1 billion people will be using the iPhone. If I use my iPhone as my hardware wallet, if it's the go-to hardware wallet for moving Bitcoin around, then you're going to pry it from my cold dead fingers. Square's done a great job. They basically plug Bitcoin into Square, and PayPal's plugged Bitcoin into PayPal. Once you've made that commitment, they're going to pry it from your fingers, white knuckle. No one's going to let go, because who wants to give up their money? It's one thing, think about how loyal we are to Apple because we got our photos on it, or our messages on it, or our movies on it. What are you more loyal to? All the money you own or your photos? Like what's real? We've really just gone through the first mobile wave, the wave of mobile communications. The next mobile wave is money, all of it, hundreds of trillions of dollars of it. Imagine what happens if all that money leaps off of stocks, bonds, real estate, gold, silver, and derivatives, and it flows into people's mobile devices where they can control it. And imagine if you didn't have to worry about juggling it and guessing whose stock is going up and whose stock is going down, right? The beauty of Bitcoin is it's simple. It's like you put your money in the bank and no one steals it. That's it. Okay, well, how good is that idea? Well, the central bank is going to steal 15% of it if you hold it in dollars. And and by the way, that's the best case, because if you have money in Venezuelan currency, Lebanese currency, Nigerian currency, Argentinian currency, you're losing more, right? You're going to lose 90% of all your money if you have another currency. You're just going to lose half your money in the next 36 months if you have it in the US or Europe. So here's my big idea for you. What if someone was not going to steal your money? And what if we built that into big tech? So it's right here. That's the excitement. What did MicroStrategy do? Well, first we bought some, and then we offered to buy out all of our shareholders that didn't like the idea. So then we bought out some of them, and we took the excess in a tender offer, and then we bought some more, and then it went up, and then we made like $300 million on it. So then it almost doubled, and then we bought some more. And then now we have like 800 million or 850 million, something like that worth of it. And then we went to the marketplace. So we raised a convertible debt offering last week. We raised $650 million to buy some more. And why do we buy it? Because we wanted to borrow in a currency which is debasing in value and invest in something which is appreciating in value. Because isn't that what you're supposed to do in business?
So there's Michael Saylor on why it's clear that the landscape of investment, particularly in the realm of digital assets like Bitcoin, is undergoing a monumental shift. Saylor's predictions about major corporations like Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Google moving their treasury assets into Bitcoin could redefine the very nature of safe haven investments, signaling a new era of digital asset management. He highlighted the critical issues facing traditional fiat currencies, especially the US dollar, and how the ongoing debt crisis and constant devaluation through incessant money printing are eroding the value of cash holdings. His ultimate advice: move away from cash and consider Bitcoin as a long-term investment-grade asset which could be crucial for preserving and growing wealth in the coming years. Anyway guys, hope you all enjoyed today's video and that provided you with some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.